Hey everyone, I'm back and today I'm going to be ranking every single Quentin Tarantino movie that he has directed, not just written. I haven't seen movies like True Romance or From Dusk Till Dawn, but I have seen every single movie that he has directed at this point. And I rewatch them once a month, and I've reviewed each of his movies once a month. And now I'm going to rank all of his movies, and I have a guest with me. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm John's mom, but I don't want to be on camera, but I'll certainly share my thoughts.
Okay. And how this is going to work is we're going to say a spot for each movie, and what I mean by that is she's going to go first, and then it's going to go to me, then her, then me, and I think you understand how this is going to work. And if we share a spot, for instance, our number 5 spot is the same movie, like if it were to be, for example, Reservoir Dogs, then we would talk about that movie at the same time. I would let her go first, but then I would talk about that movie right after she talks. So that's how this is going to work. And does that sound like this is going to work?
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay. Starting off from the bottom, number 9, and Kill Bill is going to be counted as one movie.
Yep.
That's what we agreed to. And you're going to start first. So what's your least favorite?
Jackie Brown. Definitely is my least favorite. It was the least memorable for me. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like a Quentin Tarantino movie at all. There was no major, let's, overkill everybody in the scene and this long drama. There wasn't any of that in it. So it's like, it just didn't resonate with me as one of his best.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with everything that you've said. I left it liking it. The first time, I've seen this movie twice now, and this is also my least favorite Tarantino movie. And the first time I watched it, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really loved it, and I respected it for being different. But on my second viewing, I was expecting, okay, maybe it'll go down to an 8, because it wasn't aging well in my memory. And I watched the movie for a second time. I didn't even enjoy it as an 8. It was like pretty close to a 5. I don't even know why I gave it a 6. Well, probably just me being generous about it. If I saw it one more time, I might give it a 5 instead of a 6.
If I saw it one more time, I'd fall asleep.
Yeah. Anyways, do you have anything else to say about Jackie Brown?
No, let's forget it's there.
Okay. From this point on, none of us agree with the rank. The order. Okay. So.
All right. So my next least favorite.
More.
Oh, my next least favorite is Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs.
There were some fun things in it. I'll give you that. I liked how they're fighting over who gets which name because they're all having code names by color, and it's like, seriously, you're fighting over what color name you have? Grow up.
You're Mr. Pink.
Right, exactly. It's like, what's wrong with you? This is the least of your worries. Getting caught, maybe that should be more of your worry. But that wasn't in their thought process there. But of course, normally these aren't all intelligent people in the movies anyhow. So, yeah, I don't know. There was just not enough to keep me interested in that one either. It just was... Everyone's trying to juggle up to try to be on the top, and, well, Tarantino movies, how it's going to end up.
Yep. These movies always end up the same in my eyes. That's all you had to say about it?
That's all. There's just not enough there for me to get you all excited. Sorry, if that's your favorite movie, good for you. You can have it. I will, send you some popcorn and whatever your beverage of choice is, but just don't make me sit through it again.
Okay. All right. Next up, Inglourious Basterds. I've seen this movie 4 times now, and it's gotten a little bit better from each viewing. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of history with this movie, or my experience with this movie. The first Tarantino movie that I ever saw in my life was The Hateful Eight. I really loved it. It was exciting and lots of fun, and I didn't mind the slow pace of the film. And then I saw Inglourious Basterds by Tarantino as well, and I was wanting a similar experience, I guess. and I was bored out of my mind. And even now, I do find some parts to be annoying. And like I mentioned in my review, I don't care about the whole like love story element of the movie. I find that to be really, really boring, and I just couldn't get into it all that much. And I did like the movie. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I found more good things than bad. I think there are, well, starting from the mid half of the movie all the way to the end, that's where the movie is really good for me. But there are parts in the first half where it's not too great. I'm not a big fan of the opening scene, and there isn't really a whole lot that I take away from this movie. I'll see it again because there are parts that I really like. However, it's not one that I'm eager to rewatch if the next opportunity that I get. So yeah.
All right. So I would just add in there the whole and it's not really romantic, but that's just bringing us all the chicks in to, give us some good hope that there's more to this movie than just chasing down the Nazis, because it's so much more going on there. I think one of my favorite scenes or favorite parts of this movie is when the actress Melanie Laurent, who plays the theater owner, that piece of that movie just brings so much more reality, I think, for me to it. Here's a real regular person just trying to live their own lives, and you got this war and this fighting and the Nazis coming in, just looking to give everybody trouble. And here's just something that, hey, here's the small town hero, if you will, just trying to, navigate through that whole situation and try to find a way to remain up on top and not just be one of the many people that have been murdered just because they were the wrong gender, they were the wrong religion, etc. So I liked that part of it, but and here's the funny thing is, because I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan, and here every time he says the word Nazis, it's just grated in my ears. It's like, oh my god, I just stopped listening for like that 10 seconds, like, oh my gosh, this is so awful, please stop. But there's lots of great scenes in this movie, but I agree with you, John, on that whole opening scene. Why was it so long? There's this conversation going and you just want to slap somebody upside the head and say, get on with it already. We all know where you're going. Why are you torturing us with this slow kill?
I agree. I'm not a big fan of the opening scene of this movie.
Yeah.
And for the record, we're on number 7. And, well, I did my number 8. This is her number 7,
yeah.
Inglourious Bastards. Just so you don't get confused. It's fine. I'll see it again at some point. Not one of my favorites, but it is what it is. So it's my turn now.
Okay.
This is your pile. And
that's one of your less important ones? Oh, I'm disappointed. Go for it.
Okay. Django Unchained. Very good for me. I think the first 45 minutes to the first hour of this movie is great. I really like the setups. I love Christoph Waltz in this movie. I think he's excellent. I haven't mentioned him in Inglourious Bastards. I think he was really good in that movie. I didn't like his character, though.
I would agree.
Where this movie shines for me is, like I said, the first hour. Where my issues kind of start to come in is the last 45 minutes to an hour, right around there. And that's because at that point, that's around when Samuel L. Jackson's character comes in. And he's funny. I think he's really funny in pretty much every movie he's in. Even in Jackie Brown, there are funny moments with him.
Sure.
But overall, I didn't really care for his character all that much. I didn't really find him intimidating. And the villains in this movie, I think, are the weakest part for me. And after that hour, that's when the movie goes from a great movie to a good movie for me. And that's pretty much why I give it a 7 out of 10. It's because I feel as though it's a great movie trapped in a good movie. And I'm not disappointed that I saw it. I think it's pretty good. I would recommend that you check it out. It's just not one that I fell in love with. However, there is a certain somebody that disagrees with me on this, but this will come up very much later on their list. So you're going to have to wait. Okay, so that's my number 7. Take your turn.
This is my, well, I know it's funny. It's my number 7 is The Hateful Eight. This movie, it has a lot of, great backstory lines, but to me, it just took forever to understand how the pieces all fit together. It wasn't revealed until so late in the movie where it's like, I'm so tired now of watching this, trying to go on and on. It's like, just something happened. Just go and do something. But, looking back, and I have seen this movie twice because I agreed to watch it another time, give it another shot. And yes, I did like it better than I did the first time, but not enough to rank it higher in his movies here. I just thought it just took too long to come to some conclusion. And it's like, okay, it's taking place in the cold winter. Can y'all just freeze to death because that would just end my pain? Sorry, but and then this big revelation towards the end, and it's like, well, that just went on too fast. It's like normally there's this long classic Tarantino shootout or beat 'em up action stuff, and it really wasn't like that at all. Yeah, sure enough, but it was kind of a slow kill.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Yeah,
I can understand why people don't like it at all. However, and I will be talking about that movie later, like someone else is about Django Unchained. Uh-huh. But you're going to have to wait. Is that all you have to say about The Hateful Eight?
That's all I have to say. It's near the bottom of that pile.
Okay. Next movie on my list. And this is where we start to get into what I consider great movies from Quentin Tarantino. Well, for myself, at least. I don't know about you. Okay. Reservoir Dogs. I gave this movie an 8 out of 10. Really loved it. What I think Reservoir Dogs does very well is that it has really fun characters. It's well-paced. And I think the violence, although some of the blood doesn't look realistic, like you mentioned. Yeah. You noticed that in one of the...
Ketchup!
But I enjoy the story and what it's about, and I do like how it's a heist movie that never shows the actual heist itself. Probably because they didn't have the money to do that, because it was Tarantino's first movie, or at least his first breakout movie. It was like $1 million budget, and I think he did a really great job with that money. Why this movie is kind of low on my list, and it's my least favorite great movie from Tarantino, is because compared to a lot of movies that are later on this list, what makes a good movie and a great movie for me is that a good movie gives you everything you want. However, a great movie will give you everything you want and more. But what I'm missing from Reservoir Dogs is that more element. And that's why I can't rate it higher than an 8 out of 10 for me. So, really good movie. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Your turn.
My turn. My next ranked in the movies is Death Proof. And I really like this. There's a lot of different elements in it. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know why you had shared with me that a lot of people rank it pretty low, and it's like, why? Because it has everything that you're looking for Tarantino. Mm-hmm. It's set up, and basically people are meeting up in a bar, and a stranger with a cool car gives a girl a ride home, and it just goes all off from there. Okay, yay Tarantino, of course it does go off from there. But it's got the great car chases. It's got, the suspense. It's got, kind of the girls get revenge on the bad guy element in it. And, of course, the expected Tarantino overkill. Let's, take this fight scene, blood scene to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all there. So I thought it was a good movie. It kept my interest, and some cool cars in there too.
Anything else to say?
Yeah, you can share what you think.
It's not, haven't gotten to this movie on my list yet.
Okay.
I've memorized my list, by the way.
Of course you did.
But, yep, can't say I disagree with anything that you said. I just like it more than you, I think.
Okay.
So, you will hear my extended thoughts soon. Sorry if you're getting tired of hearing that, but you will have to wait. We're taking our time with this.
Okay.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Really love this movie. In some ways, I would say it's a little bit underrated, because I know there are some people who find this movie kind of dull, because they're not huge on slow Tarantino movies, and I would say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Death Proof are slower paced, as well as Hateful Eight. And those are his slower paced movies. I don't find those movies boring, personally, because I love his dialogue, and some people have complained that in some of his movies, his dialogue, just every character kind of feels like Tarantino. And I personally don't mind that for one reason. I love his dialogue. What can I say? You know the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think the two main performances are great. Margot Robbie is really good in it, even though she doesn't have a lot to work with. And her character serves a purpose. And I really liked what they did with her character. And I thought it was great. And much like Reservoir Dogs, my only criticism is that more element, personally. And it's not that this movie did anything wrong particularly. I just feel as though there are other movies in his catalog that affected me more than this movie. Not saying it did anything wrong. If anyone's wondering what I would rate the movie now, it would at least an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I think maybe a 9 out of 10. Really loved it. There's other movies from him that I prefer. But I still really love this movie, and I'm more than happy to rewatch it. I think the music in this movie is great. I got some songs stuck in my head as I'm talking right now.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about it. All right, your turn.
All right, so I have 1, 2, 3. So number 4 on my list will be Pulp Fiction. Here's another movie that has all these different pieces that somehow all form together. So it's not just, you're watching, the famous... Look at your shirt. There it is. It's not like you're just watching, the main characters that you saw in all the trailers in that movie. You're going to see other people in there, and their storylines are just as strong. I don't know. I think that, it was believable, the characters... when they're in a scene, Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta, when they're in a scene, you believe that they're old-time buddies just getting along, and this is just what they do, and it's all cool, man. Exactly how they would be, talking about it. And then how, we get Uma's character in there. Yep. We get her character in there and just kind of throws a loop, because you always got to have someone throwing a loop so Tarantino can make it more interesting, and he does do that. But there's this other piece of the movie where Bruce Willis is in there, and I'm not going to tell you all those details, but although it was, for me, very disturbing and uncomfortable, it really showed how, when two people are thrown into a situation, how that can really change you and, change your perspective on your relationship with one another. It's not like, everybody came out, where they were all hugging in the beginning or they were hugging at the end, but it really changed the relationship, and I thought that brought a lot of depth to the movie that would not have been there if that piece of the puzzle wasn't filmed.
Okay.
What do you think?
I love this movie. I'll talk about more in just a minute. And I thought it was great. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Okay.
Okay, my number 4, Death Proof. Love this movie. I went into it with very low expectations. For the record, in case anyone's wondering, I am talking about the extended edition. We were both talking about the extended edition. I haven't seen the Grindhouse version yet, which is shorter, and it's a double feature with Planet Terror and a bunch of fake trailers, and then Death Proof.
Okay.
And fun fact, some of those fake trailers got turned into real movies. What I really love about Death Proof is really everything that I love about a Tarantino movie in general. Really great dialogue, lots of fun scenes with characters, and although not all of the characters are likable human beings, I still find them really fun to watch. It's just a really satisfying movie for me to watch it. It's what the credit song that they played at the end of the movie. I think that was great. And I do have a couple issues with it. But overall, I think it's a blast to watch. It never feels as if it's dragging for me.
Yeah, and I don't know why it got such low ratings. I'm not even sure I could be friends with those people. But that's okay. We liked it. That's all that matters.
Yep. I love it. 9 out of 10. Your turn.
My turn. So we're treating this as one movie because it really is, because it doesn't finish the story until after you've seen Kill Bill 2. Excuse me, Kill Bill Volume 2, to be corrected. I saw that coming. No, I really liked that set of movies. I liked the storyline. I like how, she's coming back to exact her revenge. But we don't really know what happened and why she's trying to get back at somebody for the longest time. But it's not a problem because there's so much happening on the way to getting to that piece of the information. My only concern with this movie is there's this fight scene, and John, remind me if that was in 1 or 2.
It was at the end of 1.
Oh my gosh, it went on for flipping ever. I felt like I could go out, take the dog for a short walk, come back in, have a cup of coffee, and not have missed a darn thing, like a soap opera. And sorry for all you soap opera people. I don't even know who you are, why you're listening to that. But that's how I felt. It's like, why is this fight scene going on? And it wasn't like they were bringing in new elements or, oh, there's a new weapon. Woohoo! No. So, again, Tarantino, you overdid it. It could have probably been one movie if you had chunked out that, was it like 12, 14 minutes worth of fight for one scene?
I couldn't even... I need to check that.
But I'll have to time forever, isn't it? It's like for freaking ever. That's how I felt. But other than that, if you pulled that out, everything else about the movie I thought was really spot on. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was, if you say, oh, I'm going to watch a Tarantino movie, this is what you would expect to be seeing. So I have that rated as my number 3. So we're getting down there, folks.
Yeah, we're in the top 3. What's my number 3 going to be? You guys ready for this? I'm not ready for this.
What you got?
Pulp Fiction. I know many people are going to say this is probably their favorite, and this is, I would say, Tarantino's most iconic movie. If anyone says Tarantino, probably the first thing that's going to come into their mind is Pulp Fiction.
It's that dancing, John. Do that. It's that dancing. Yeah. John Travolta dancing. Everyone's all excited. Saturday Night Fever. Not happening in this movie like that.
But anyways, there's so many scenes that I love in this movie. I love all the characters in this movie. It has a huge cast, and every character has something to them, and each character I love, and every scene is great. I'm nailed to the scene. I'm invested. I did say the opening scene for me is the weakest part of the movie. Well, I take that back because there is another scene that I think is kind of weak, and it's like there's some really bad green screen. It's in the back when they're in a taxi. Oh. It looked really bad. Maybe that was, I don't know what that was. I'll have to go through the special features. The 6 hour, oh God, 6 hours.
I'm going to not watch that with you. You can just give me the highlights.
The gist of it?
Yeah, no more than 10 minutes because seriously, I don't have 6 hours to watch bonus features.
Pulp Fiction, it's a classic. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And it's your turn.
All right, number 2 for me.
Ooh.
Django. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Before John told me about this movie, I had no idea this even existed. I never had heard of it. I didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my number 2 Tarantino pick. Oh my gosh, I just love it. It's got the witty dialogue is just out of this world. And it's just all of the things that are happening. It's like it's like, yeah, I can see this happening. Yes, a little exaggerated at parts, of course, because it's a Tarantino movie. Of course it's exaggerated. That's what makes us want to go see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just love, so it's, about a slave. His name is Django. And it's just so funny because of the turn of events that's like, that's just preposterous. Nobody would have done that back then if this was a true historical piece. But yet it works because it's like this outrageousness of it. And just the whole backstory of, trying to, get him from a point of, I'm a free man, but no one sees me as that. And what's the doctor's...
Oh, Christoph.
Yes.
Christoph Waltz character?
Yes. His character is so beautifully partnered with Django. It's like they've known each other all of their lives as they're traveling across the country and just, literally looking out for each other. It's just, I love this movie and I'm just afraid to say too much and give away some of the fun. But I swear, the one part, and it's right near the beginning, where Django asks, can I wear whatever I want? And it's like, you see it like the very next scene, and you will, if you're not laughing, just leave the room because you don't deserve to watch this movie. It's so great. Mm-hmm. It was so surprisingly good to me. And again, I can't believe I never even heard of it. Mm-hmm. And yet I love it so much.
Yeah. I'm very happy that you love it. I remember when I was kind of talking to you about this movie before you actually saw it. This was the last Tarantino movie we saw, and when I saw it, I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I gave it a 7 out of 10. I think I described it as a reimagining for Inglourious Bastards, in a way, and that kind of made you feel, I don't really need to see this, but then you watched it, and then you loved it. From beginning to end. I'm very happy that you loved it.
Yeah, and if you're a Leonardo fan, you're still going to be a fan, but you're not going to really like him so much because his character is not a lovable character, but very well done. You totally believe he's exactly who he's portraying. Mm-hmm. But of course, he's a pro. Of course you believe him. Mm-hmm. So what do you have for your number 2?
My number 2, that is The Hateful Eight. The most underrated movie ever. If not Death Proof, then this will be. A lot of people don't think this is that great simply because they think it's really long. And I should also compare this version of the movie to the extended cut on Netflix, which is like 3 hours long or 3.5 hours long or something. But it's like 4 episodes, and each episode is like an hour long-ish, 45 minutes to an hour. That version I give like an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. It has a lot that I like in it, but the editing scenes I didn't feel need to be there, and overall I felt it kind of ruined the pacing, similar to Apocalypse Now, where the Redux version and the final cut just add in scenes that don't need to be there, therefore they ruin the pacing of the movie for me. And that was kind of the same experience that I had with Hateful Eight. But rewatching the theatrical cut, I was looking out for flaws everywhere. Couldn't find any, except for one I mentioned in my review. There was a little bit too much narration that was just explaining what was going on, as in, like, you kind of just spoiled things that were going on that I would have preferred to be a surprise. But aside from that, I don't have any issues with this movie. I think the performances are excellent, especially from Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson. And Jennifer Jason Leigh, she's amazing in it. Channing Tatum, he's not in it a lot, but he's really good in the movie. It's really, all the cast is great, and I love that it's just one setting throughout the whole movie. I don't find it boring at all. And throughout the entire movie, it's really fun, and you're kind of just waiting for something to go wrong. And I really love it.
But you didn't think at all in that one huge scene that most of the film takes place in, you kind of know that there's something off, but you don't quite know what or who or why. Don't you think that if he would have given us more clues ahead of time, so you would think, oh, well, we're just waiting for this, character or characters to break, and now we're going to know what's going on? You weren't like...
There were a couple things.
Okay.
You saw that when Samuel L. Jackson's walking through the cabin, he notices a little, without spoiling anything, of course, there's a little jelly bean just sitting on the floor, and that raises his suspicion, and then he talks to the...
Yeah, he's very good at being a detective, if you will. Yeah, noticing the detail things,
Yeah, through his eyes, he knows what's going on, and he knows how to manipulate people, and that's what I really love about his character.
Yep, there's that. But I just wish that, some more of that backstory came up a little sooner in the movie, so we were, aware of what to be on the lookout for. That's all.
Okay.
That would have kept my interest more.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
Yep, Hateful Eight, love it. I think it's underrated. I'll defend it until I die, along with Death Proof. But now for our number one favorites. I'm pretty sure you've guessed at this point, but I think we would very much like to reveal our number one favorite. It's not the same movie, obviously.
Because John's wrong this time.
Of course.
Oh, God, exactly.
Take it away.
Number one, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it's so good, they think it's number one too, because they put another great throwback cover. Whoops, sorry, thanks for helping me. You take over. So isn't that pretty cool? There is nothing that you cannot say that it's just perfect. All right, yes, I know. Brad Pitt, okay? Totally deserved that Oscar. He is so good in every scene. You laugh every time he's on camera because there's just these one-liners that just come out and you're just dying because it's so realistic. You can see this actually happening today at any time. And Leonardo, oh my gosh, it's like, you poor guy, it's like, here you're at the, top of your career and times are changing and it's not always going exactly trajectory for him, and it's just how he's processing through that. And if you don't already know that Leonardo's character, he is the cowboy star of a TV and series and does movies, and his stunt double is Cliff, and he is played by Brad Pitt. Or as later in the film, someone refers to him as the old Hawaiian guy because he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and he's older than 18. But I just love this whole movie. But I will say, when we saw this in the theater, and then they start referring to Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski, and I'm like, oh, crap. I'm not prepared to have to see any of that going down in a movie. But, of course, there's, Tarantino spin on things. But there's so much of, that time frame that's preserved, by Tarantino in this film from, not just the costume, but all the background information that's going through it. And when there's, walking through town or driving through a town and all the background, everything is just spot on. You're like, you're right there. And if you didn't live it, you're living it now watching this movie. And I just think that's so awesome. And sadly, everything didn't turn out in real life how it did in the movie. But of course, that's usually how things are. But it was still great. But I will say that I was sitting on the edge of my seat at certain points and just, just relishing in this whole, take me back to this time. It was definitely the most fun that I've had watching a movie in a long time. And every time this movie comes up, I got, satellite TV and it comes up, I'm watching it because I just can't get enough of it. I always find another funny line in there. And it's just so great. There's a spot where our stunt double is, waiting on set, and here's a Bruce Lee character, and they're having this banter back and forth, and it's just hilarious how you just watch all the background characters as they're, talking back and forth, and he's just, catch this guy laughing or this guy like, oh no, or just like the look of his eyes when he's getting yelled at, and it's like, you get this look was like, oh, I'm so glad that you have to deal with that, not me, man. Yeah, exactly. So there's just all this other stuff going on that just brings me in each and every time. And the music, it's not all music all songs that I know and, I've heard on the radio or, remember playing way back when. But I'm loving it just the same. So It's number one. So what's your ridiculous number one instead if it's not this?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Absolutely. I gotta count how many times that's said.
I think it's said like twice, maybe 3 times.
Yeah, at least 3 times. Love you, Brad. You deliver it like a winner. An Oscar winner. Did I mention that?
You did. All right, my number one, Kill Bill, one movie. Supposed to be one movie. It was actually screened in Japan once as one movie. It was called Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It came out in 2011, I think.
No way. That's
so
cool.
It is one movie. That's what separates it from Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows. It separates it from Twilight. It's separated from the Hunger Games. Take that, all of you. It is one movie.
As it should be, huh?
Got him.
You did.
But being fair, I accept people considering these 2 movies on one condition if you feel differently about them. As in, not one, I like one, but I don't like 2. As in, let's use my rating scale. Even if it's just by 1 point, one is like a 7 out of 10, the other is a 6 or an 8. This is just hypothetically. If that's the case, fair enough. I'll accept that. Sure. But for me, I don't feel differently about either of these 2, either of them. And let's talk about my experience watching this movie. The style of this movie, it's very anime, very cartoonish. And from that, by doing so, it has a great pace to the movie, and the world is very exaggerated, and the blood is ridiculous, and the violence is fun. And even although you don't really care for sorry, I know you said that the ending of Volume 1, its action scene went on for too long. I never felt the pacing in this movie, to be honest. And as I was watching it, I was entertained throughout. There wasn't a moment where I was bored. And when I was rewatching this movie, I rewatched these back to back. Never felt the pacing. Never was bored. 4 hours, locked in, enjoyed it from beginning to end. And it's exciting. Uma Thurman is excellent in this movie. And there's not a single bad performance. And as I'm watching this movie, this happens a couple times in Tarantino movies. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this happened for me. Where as I'm watching it, I forget completely that it was a Quentin Tarantino movie. Because it doesn't feel like him. I can say this for Jackie Brown, but all in the wrong ways. This doesn't feel like a Tarantino movie, but all in the right ways. Because it feels like it's something completely different from him. And it's a great experience for me. And it has really great soundtrack choices. And really just a lot added into the movie that I can't get enough of, and I would happily rewatch this movie as many times as I can, and I could watch it a million times and I won't be bored by it. I'm never tired by it. Love it. Favorite Tarantino movie? Kill Bill.
Right after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, of course.
Right.
You just don't know it yet.
I still love.
Oh, I know
Hollywood.
you do. I know you do. It's just they're a little bit different. It's Kill Bill's more, action every minute, where Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's storytelling at his best, in my opinion.
All right. So that's the ranking for all of these Tarantino movies. I don't have anything else to say. And what I'm going to attempt to do is have all of these in my hand at the same time.
You want to use your 2 extra hands over here?
Let me just try to like this. Oh, dear God.
I can lend you a hand or 2.
Hang on. I'm going to cut this down.
It's not like a deck of cards.
Okay. Oh, shit. That's not the right. So we got. Oh, God.
There you go. Here, I'll just pull this one. You can see this one. Hey, just get rid of the fit. There you go. Y'all in camera?
Yeah, they're in camera.
Okay.
Okay, now we got all those.
As they all fall to the floor.
Yep. I got my favorites, got my least favorites. Love them. So there are both of our rankings for every Quentin Tarantino movie ever made that he directed. And we didn't include the stuff that he's only written. But that's how we feel about him. Love him. And if you enjoyed this ranking, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what your ranking for all of his movies are. In the comments down below, I'm very interested in seeing what you think, because literally everyone has a different opinion on which movies from him they like and don't like from him. And it's always very interesting. So let me know what you think down below, and my social media links, those will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Die Hard 2. So look forward to that. And before I end this review, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, I really hope that you guys enjoyed, our banter back and forth. Mm-hmm. But tell us in your comments, which is your favorite #1 movie? And let me remind you that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were the stars of your favorite Tarantino movie. It just came out most recently, too. Yep, that's the one you should pick. But if you have to, side with John and pick his favorite, or you have a better one, let us know. Tell us which one your favorite one is and why you liked it best. Love to know.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But until I get my review up for Die Hard 2, Die Harder, I forgot that little subtitle.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, and have a great day.